We have with us Mr. Sridhar Sunkad from EON Realities. Good evening, Mr. Sridhar Sunkad. Thank you for coming to the launch of Auronya College.
Thank you.
Mr. Sridhar, you flew in from Singapore to join us here at Auronya. My first question would be, why virtual reality for education?
Historically, virtual reality has been more used in the defense sector and also mainly into the gaming sector. But what we realized at EON Reality, focusing on education and knowledge transfer, it helps students to remember longer, decide better, learn faster. And if we go into the traditional learning form, most of us, when we learned in the schools, we have learned in two dimensions, X and Y axis. Now, introducing the 3D through the concept of virtual reality, augmented reality, gives you the perception of that, where your understanding and retention rate will be better. That's where it is a huge value add into the educational field.
Now, there are different academic streams, Mr. Sridhar. For example, engineering, arts, humanities, social sciences. How do you see virtual reality infusing itself into these different streams rather than just engineering based?
Right. Here again, traditionally, engineering subjects and STEM subjects has been the biggest stronghold because the abstract concepts can be very easily articulated. But now, with the advent of taking this technology on the mobile phones, we have seen a huge surge by mixing arts, music, and VR, all put it in the form of a complete experience-based learning. So the moment you go for experience-based learning, other streams of education also sees a use of these technologies into their learning experiences.
Now, I am very well aware of Google starting the Tango project in 2012.
Right.
It's been 5 years and now it's about to come to fruition. And Google has started using it for history, art, and literature. How did this happen? Because you've been working with Google on Tango.
Right.
And the Denver Museum has introduced Tango. A couple of museums have started introducing. How did this happen going into arts, history, and literature for virtual realities?
See, here again, the traditional engagement when visitors comes in is either you have to have a tour guide or you have to have the headsets for you to learn more about it. Otherwise, your ticketed experience goes off like just seeing the objects. But with the Tango device, there is more to learn. The moment you superimpose on those objects, the information flows towards you. Either you can go for narration, or you can go for text, or you can go for additional image-based references. So this is a very powerful media of you as a visitor being more engaged rather than walking the floor in a museum or understanding some prehistoric context of information that just pops up to you. You are getting more engaged in a way you are able to get more learning information out of it. So that's one of the directions where Google Tango, along with the Expeditions project, has seen how their involvement into these areas has been more fruitful and engaging.
What do you see is one of the biggest obstacles in VR infusing into education curriculums?
I'll take a reference of Singapore school system. In the education, the syllabus and sometimes the government policies all comes in as like a rigid system, and it's difficult to change. When we bring in the virtual reality and the augmented reality based education, it's very difficult to penetrate the education system because the faculty and the administrators are very rigid and they don't want to change.
That's right.
We need some movers and shakers. And in this 8 years of my journey in Singapore, we ourselves, EON Reality, have been the sort of trailblazers where we took this as an experiential learning and we created some champions within the universities, within the vocational education. And later on, when they showed what it's possible, then there was mass acceptance. So my take is in emerging markets and in non-traditional educational subjects, we need those sort of digital champions who have to take the message forward and also have to articulate this with a bigger vision. Then the acceptance comes on board.
how hard was the acceptance from the faculty side versus from the administrative or the government side to accept the change of these education models in Singapore?
Today, I'm pleased to say we have nearly about 300 modules being developed, everything from floristry to life sciences to aviation. So it's a broad area which we have covered. Still, we have challenge with the administration. But when it comes to faculty and also the domain knowledge experts, because we have to work very closely with them. EON per se is a technology company, and we are adding value in terms of bringing research to the forefront. And in Singapore, it's a very mature market when it comes to investment in education. So technology enhancements and the investments associated with it happens at a rapid pace.
With regards to value-based learning, in the future, along with technology, human emotions,
Yeah.
values, culture will also be very important because we must not forget that in the end, what makes us human.
Right.
Do you think this kind of technology can be used to teach students values, culture?
I personally believe, coming from the value system which I have grown, and also being working in Europe, US, and into Asia, this technology has a role to play to bring the Generation X together in a more collaborative way. Because when we work in this environment, it has to be collaborative, it has to be persistent, and also it brings a lot of grit. And when we touch on the softer aspects of the human qualities that brings into the platform, all this means a lot to bring the technology as a platform, but the enablers are still the human elements.
Uh, all the thought leaders such as World Economic Forum, Pew Global, or World Bank or IMF are predicting that as we move towards the fourth industrial revolution, because it has just started, and as we move this journey, ethics will be very important in the future, whether it's human ethics, bioethics, which is ethics in the healthcare, or digital ethics, or business ethics. Can we use such immersive technologies such as AR, VR, or 3D education to teach ethics to students?
In terms of role play, we can create environments where then have to come with the desired outcomes, and how to reach the desired outcomes in the role play. We can see whether it is by deception or by cunningness or by collaborativeness. So when you go into these values and see how the role plays have been more simulated, then you'll be able to drive a point in the learning experiences. Definitely, this area of bringing the technology to understand the ethics will be a huge part which we can reinforce to the structured learning environment.
In terms of collaborating with the faculty, how do you collaborate with the faculty? Do you work with the faculty as subject matter experts and then your resources help develop the curriculums?
It may not be our own resources because we are coming in from an R&D and a platform play. We definitely need to work with the subject matter experts in the domain field to contribute. But at the same time, we also want to customize the learning modules to fit to the institution's vision, and we have to align that in the format of the delivery, what the educational institutions want to engage with the students of the future. And towards this extent, we have done a few deployments, and in some contexts, we are working with a 10-year vision where the transformation of technology-enabled learning has just started a year or two earlier.
The use of this technology for certain curriculums, let's say environmental planning, urban planning, has just now started in terms of it's being used to build smart cities, and architects and students are using it. How do you think it can be used for technologies for which curriculums have not yet been made, such as blockchains or digital currencies like bitcoins, to teach students through VR and AR? Will it be possible in the future?
See, here these are like emerging subjects. And emerging subjects means we have to, one, understand like what the learning outcomes has to be. And also in a classroom type of environment, we have to put it in the context of like, what are the learning outcomes? And when we do the role plays, we had to give like possible alternatives in the learning outcomes. And a text-based learning would be more of reading the text and doing a role play, and then subject to interpretations. But in a virtual reality role play, you're in a position to guide to the desired outcomes also. So in these emerging areas, there is definitely a role for virtual reality to play. I can go a step further and say like it's not just the technology aspect, it's how we develop the whole script and how we engage the students who are digital natives now to embrace this technology. That's a huge part of the total delivery. The engagement, the review, the testing, and the delivery.
My last question would be, what attracted you to Auronya and what did you think about its vision and concept?
I have been traveling for the last 2 years in India at the skills development foundation level and also with NCRT. It's again like going back to more of the traditional subjects. But when I realized the vision education 4.0, what you are trying to address and how you're transforming the learning experience to students, that triggered interest and enthusiasm in me for coming over here, meeting you all, also understanding further. And also, your vision is quite bold because you're not only bringing the emerging technologies for student engagement, but also you are giving that in a different setting. And this gives us, both as a technology player and also as a partner, to explore, experiment, and deliver new way of teaching and learning mechanisms to the students.
Well,
So with this, I really see that the vision which you have set forward for the next 3 to 5 years, there is a role for EON to play, and we would like to be a partner in this journey moving forward.
well, we look forward to welcoming you, Mr. Sridhar, at Auronya, and it's going to be a fantastic journey for both of us and for humanity.
Excellent. Looking
Thank
forward
you.
there. Pleasure.
Thank you. Good to